Come on. Folks, welcome to an all-new week of So Bad It's Good. Nothing is happening this week. It is a super chill week. Nothing weird or potentially crazy will happen. So just enjoy this pop culture roundup. We have the newlywed herself. We call her Sophie Ross, but her new name is Sophie Ross Brooks. She is the host of the insanely good podcast Snarkbait, which you can find right now on all podcasting outlets. Make sure you go subscribe and hit 5 stars. Let's find out what her first week as a married woman was like. Sophie Ross Brooks, welcome to the show.
Hi, how's it going?
Wow, you have like a married woman's voice now.
Oh my God, do I? It's my mic. I swear it's my new fancy Shure mic. Oh my God.
She has a new mic. So I was even like, this sounds like a little different. And I realized she's got a fancy podcaster mic.
Is my vocal fry extra crisp?
You could really hear the vocal fry. I love it. Amazing.
I know.
She's like, girl, what mic what'd you say?
It's like ASMR, but it's my crispy vocal fry.
How was this week? Are you down? There's no way you're back down on Earth yet.
Honestly, I understand why people go on honeymoons immediately after the wedding.
Yes.
I'm just like, wait, how am I supposed to go back to real life? I'm like, I'm not over it. You guys have moved on. I haven't moved on yet. All of my vendors are at new weddings this week. And I'm like, wait, well, what about mine? What about me?
Were they as good? They weren't. They couldn't have been as good. Were they like, hey,
I'm
what's
getting
up,
jealous. I'm like, wait, but my wedding.
There were I don't know if we mentioned this when I talked to you this week, is there were people where the wedding was outside. There were people on the top floor of the hotel looking down at the wedding.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I think there was a bar up top.
On the roof, we're looking down at the piazza where the ceremony was.
Yeah, totally.
That's really cute. Yeah. I hope they enjoyed the show.
I was like, is this paparazzi? Is this? Yeah. And I forgot to mention this other great moment. It was the at the end, the last song of the night was Mr. Brightside by the Killers. And I thought that was great.
Oh yeah, because we're really unique,
No, I love
really that. If you can't tell, we really like under the radar, indie music. If you couldn't tell.
Sophie, that's literally, I'm complimenting that. I thought that was such a great moment. We were all screaming lyrics to the Killers song. And I just remembered that.
Take me back.
And I just want to remind people, she is going on her honeymoon over the holidays through Japan and Thailand. And I'm about to donate to her honey fund so she can have a very good, obviously honeymoon. But I wanted to tell you something. I watched this Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix last night called Martha. And the reason I bring this up, first off, I didn't think I was going to like this, and I ended up loving it. This Martha Stewart, she's awesome, but she's a little kooky. And she talked about her wedding when she was 19, and then her honeymoon. She took a 5-month European vacation with her husband, right? 5 months. And I was like 5 months, and I was thinking about you. And then she goes, we were in Florence and I was going to the Duomo and my husband didn't want to go. So I went to the Duomo, which it's like this amazing, just sweeps you away. And she said, I had so many feelings. I was so overcome with emotion. And she ended up making out with a stranger at the Duomo on her honeymoon. And her husband was back at the hotel. And she said, it wasn't cheating or anything. It was just, I was so swept up in the moment. So I'm like, Sophie, you just got to be really careful wherever you go in Japan and Thailand.
Well,
and Henry as well.
I feel like if anything, last time Henry and I went on an international trip, we went to Paris. And he went to the Louvre by himself because I just didn't want to go. I've been to the Louvre before and I was like, it's so early. It was an 8 a.m. tour. I was like, I'd rather sleep in. I'm tired. And so Henry went to the Louvre by himself and had the tour guide taking pictures of him. And he was like,
you turned down the Louvre because you had already been there. And it was too early?
Hooked up with someone at the Louvre.
Oh, now without a doubt, Sophie, without a doubt.
It'll be Henry going on little guided tours by himself because I'll be like, I just want to sleep in. I'm tired.
Which was part of your wedding vows, actually, was he appreciates, he knows that you need your sleep and your naps.
Yeah, he lets me sleep in. And I love that about him.
Well, anyways, this Martha Stewart documentary, I do highly recommend it. It was so like she was the first female billionaire, which I thought was amazing, and it went through her business.
I
But
don't
then,
even think I knew that.
oh, I didn't either. And then, I mean, she, obviously she served like 5 months in prison for like kind of this insider trading scam, like in the early 2000s. But what's so funny is this documentary, which I loved, she did an interview with the New York Times where she was like, she went off on it. And she said, these are like some of the quotes she said about the documentary. She says, "Those last scenes with me looking like a lonely old lady walking hunched over in the garden, boy, I told him to get rid of those and he refused. I hate those last scenes. I hate them." And then he said, "I said to the director, an essential part of the film is that you play rap music. Dr. Dre will probably score it, or Snoop. I said, I want that music. And then he gets some lousy classical score in there, which has nothing to do with me. He had 3 cameras on me and he chooses to use the ugliest angle. And I told him, don't use that angle. That's not the nicest angle. You had 3 cameras. Use the other angle. He would not change that." And I just love her being so, this is why she is who she is.
I love that diva. I love that diva. And also,
Yes.
I was thinking about that with like our wedding video, for instance. I'm going to be like, wait, but I look gross there, you know?
Yeah. But that's how she got to be where she is. And I was so, me and Rebecca were watching it, and the whole time we were like, this is amazing. Like, it just shows you how different people are. Because the guy said, "Oh, with your boyfriends or your ex-husband, did you ever talk about feelings?" And she's like, "No, I mean, I'll talk about what you're doing. I'd be curious about like what you're doing, what you're working on, but no, I don't talk about feelings." And I thought, that's like, all I do is talk about feelings. Like, can you imagine I love the cut of her jib. Martha Stewart, amazing.
I feel like it's just like ice in her veins,
Yes.
you know, in a good way.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. In a good way. So there's that. And then, obviously, I hate to bring this up because you are so deeply in love right now, but I didn't know if you had any opinion at all on this. You know, Camelot has fallen once again with Channing Tatum and Zoe Kravitz
I'm sad.
splitting up after
I'm
3 years.
sad. I was rooting for them.
Yeah. I mean, I thought that was like a lock. They were engaged, and you know, his ex Jenna Dewan, they had recently finally finished their divorce, and we still don't really know what happened. Have you heard anything on the mean streets of New York about what broke this relationship up?
No, can't say I have, but I'm bummed out about it. I definitely thought they were endgame. I can't believe it's been 3 years. It had been 3 years of them being together. So
yeah.
I'm
And they were
sad.
just promoting her directorial debut, this movie, I think it was called Blink Twice. And he was like so complimentary towards her. So I'm so curious what happened in that relationship. But I don't know. That did surprise me, and it surprised you as well, obviously.
Yeah. Yeah. We need to like get the deets, like what happened.
Who is the focus of your podcast, Snarkbait? Who is this week?
So the most recent episode, this previous Wednesday that we dropped, was about Ariel Charnas.
Okay, so this is one of the first people I talked to you about, but explain who Ariel Charnas is to the people out there who might not know.
She's a now infamous Instagram influencer. She was like one of the very first fashion influencers. There were a lot of scandals that have happened.
Is she the one that like broke like COVID restrictions and things like that?
When she went to the Hamptons while COVID positive, and this was again like March 2020. Like, I know that like we know maybe a little bit more about COVID now, but still, this is March 2020. So we do a deep dive on her.
Is she the We Wore What lady too?
That's Danielle Bernstein.
Oh, sorry, Danielle.
That's a different one. But we recorded 2 amazing episodes this weekend. One is another influencer. I'll leave it as a surprise. And then I'm just going to spill the beans. We recorded our first deep dive about a Bravo celebrity today.
Which one? Come
You're
on,
no angel either, sweetheart.
Oh, Jax?
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm glad you brought up Jax, because you might talk about this in your new podcast, but Jax Taylor also is doing a new podcast as well. Did you hear about this, Sophie? Did you talk about it?
Oh, he's doing one separate from Brittany?
He's doing one separate. Okay, so get this. Jax Taylor to launch a new podcast. Just in your imagination, what would you think this would be called or would be about? Jax Taylor's new podcast.
Hockey Bros.
Yeah. Miami social media bros. No,
Yeah.
it's called In the Mind of a Man.
Oh my God. Oh
And
my
so
God.
he dropped an
My
episode of
brain is
his
sprained. You know how when someone sprains their ankle, that's my brain. I'm a work in progress.
So Jax had an episode of his current podcast with his ex-wife when reality hits, titled In the Mind of a Man, and the episode description explained, former 3-week guy Jax Taylor fields all your questions about why guys act the way they do in relationships, including breadcrumbing, love bombing, ghosting, situationships, soulmates, cheating, hall passes, and gaslighting. And it would seem, this is from realityt.com, it would seem Jax's new podcast will take the premise of this single episode and stretch it out as much as possible. So he is doing what Rachel Leviss did with, Rachel Goes Rogue. Jax is going rogue. Would you listen to would you listen to a mental health podcast led by Jax Taylor?
You know what's funny is that when he was diagnosed with narcissism, he came out with a statement. He admitted that he was diagnosed with narcissism. And hold on, I need to find this statement really fast. Please bear with me.
No, sorry to laugh, guys. I know, and I take mental health very seriously.
The fact that he was diagnosed with narcissism. First of all, we've been new. Knew.
That's right. That was the thing. He was like, I've been hearing from my doctors that I'm like, I literally just watched the first season of Vanderpump Rules. You're literally called a narc. You just haven't been listening for the last decade.
This quote years. Exactly. In this quote, he goes, I'm a narcissist. Yes, I breadcrumb. I love bomb. And also gaslighting. I'm missing some, but I do all these things. I had no idea there were terms for these things. So the way
he's I've been playing those classics for years. I didn't know we named them.
He's in the mind of just your average man. We all gaslight. We all breadcrumb. It's no, Jax.
In the mind of a serial killer.
Literally.
I will tell you, though, I got to tell you, this has me hooked. I'm there. I'm seated for this Jax Taylor mental health, even more so than Rachel Goes Rogue. I am going to be totally in on this podcast, but I didn't think it's for the right reasons. I think I'll be listening
exactly,
different ears. But also, isn't it so funny? Celebrity culture does this a lot of takes the bad thing about yourself and then how can we monetize it immediately? So now he's been officially diagnosed. He's gone to this mental health /rehab. The Valley season 2 is going to be coming out in a couple of months. And now it's let me make money off of this. And I just think it's so dangerous because it's the same thing with Rachel Goes Rogue. How are you going to put yourself at the head of the table to lead these conversations when you truly haven't figured it out yourself at all yet either?
When you're still a work in progress, Jax. You're still a work in progress.
Yeah, by the way, you'll never be able to say you're a work in progress again if you actually do this podcast, because you'll have experts coming on every week saying this is who you specifically are. And shouldn't we have these conversations not in public? I feel like it's almost it's for a jury trial. You're leaving so much evidence out there.
It's so fucking funny. When are you going to be fully progressed, fully loaded?
Yeah. I'm at 100%. And by the way, you know what? I will say this. I hope he follows Rachel, the artist formerly known as Rachel Leviss, a step further. I hope this year he says, you know what? Jax Taylor is no longer. I'm now going by Jason Couchy.
Call me Jason.
Call me Sophie, that's the name of the podcast. Call me Jason.
Oh my God.
You're Jax, welcome. If you listen, you can have this. Yeah. Call me Jason.
Wait, did we ever find out what happened during the filming of season 2 of The Valley when he had to go into that 30-day treatment? Did we ever find out what the impetus for that was?
I heard a couple of things. So one, I heard that it was actually production that said, you have to go. We're not going to let you film. I heard they ushered him in, hey, we're not going to let you film it. That's what I had heard. But also what I think now is one of the big things behind it was Brittany having a hookup with that dude that Lala used to hook up with.
And that made him lose his mind.
I think so. I'm looking up the guy. Oh, Julian Sensley is his name. And Lala talked about on her podcast, Give Them Lala, that Lala initially had hooked up with Julian, I think, after the Randall thing, and they were buddies, and that's how Brittany knew him. But he also worked at TomTom. It's so incestuous. And then Jax called Lala when he found out and was like, is this true? Like, who is this guy? And she was like, yeah, you know this guy. It's Julian. And I heard he was furious about it. And that's what led Jax to like tweet or Instagram of, you should ask Brittany where she's been spending her nights the last couple of months. And then it turns out, I think this guy was married or engaged potentially. So I think he has his own thing going, and I think might have a kid, and he's no longer in the picture with Brittany. But I think we were all kind of like, yeah, Brittany, get yours, do whatever you want, right?
I love these crazy kids. I love
Sophie,
them.
could you ever be like, this is what I know you've got your whole future ahead of you. And I told Henry this at the wedding too, just no matter what happens, no matter how successful you get, please don't ever do a reality show, Sophie. Please, I'm begging you. Please.
I mean, I got agents knocking on the door.
No, I know, but just please don't. I think it'll just ruin the good thing you got going right now, because look at these kids. They're in their 40s now, and it's still just as intense. It's just that they have kids as well. Like, it just never ends.
I mean, I will say that I think I could make Roni more entertaining than the current cast.
Okay. So let me tell you this, Sophie. I was so exhausted from your wedding. I had to do a bunch of work, and some of that work includes watching TV. I sit down to watch Roni, the new Roni. I passed out within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I Jessel and Pavitt were talking about his Meta glasses that has like hooked up to AI, and I was like out. And I never went back to watch this past week's episode, but you're caught up. Like, I left off when they were at the Aaron's Hampton's place, and Bryn was telling Rebecca Minkoff to say, hey, say this to Uba to get her upset, which is like, Bryn, let Rebecca say her own lines, even though I do think Rebecca needs help.
Which, by the way, Rebecca Minkoff is like the biggest flop on Housewives that we've had in a long time, maybe since Peggy
Suleiman?
Yeah. He just brings absolutely nothing. It also was when Bryn told Uba to stop acting like an angry Black woman, which obviously people were very upset about, because even though Bryn is biracial, she is white passing, whereas Uba is very obviously a dark-skinned Black woman. And so Bryn ended up like releasing a statement and being like, well,
I have the statement here. It said, I sat in shock this week as off-camera interactions in the Hamptons were conveyed without context. To see my intentions twisted and my words misrepresented flat out scares me. I am deeply sorry if I overstepped that night in the Hamptons. I am beyond sorry, as this was never my intention. And then, guys, this is like a 6 or 7 paragraph explanation. And then at the very end, it says, I hope the powerful fourth wall moment that happened in Anguilla well before the Hamptons will be shown at this year's reunion, so that this long-standing, nearly 2-year-old issue can finally be addressed openly. A constructive conversation is much needed to clear the air and provide context and closure for everyone involved. And we started off this season of Roni where they're doing a photo shoot and Bryn and Uba can't be in the same room.
Oh,
but Sophie, to your point, do you care?
Like, not really.
That's not the thing, is that
I think that both, and it's funny, I'm like, Rebecca Minkoff's such a flop. Bryn's a flop. Uba's a flop.
I was really thinking about this because, like, I do genuinely like these late. I mean, like, I love Uba. Like, Uba cracks me up. Bryn, I just feel like she's almost like on a different decade of Housewives. Like, she's giving so much, almost too much. Where, like, if you were in an audition, you'd be like, bring it down a little bit.
Exactly. I think it's just like a little too much. Like, it's too much. It just doesn't seem authentic or real to me.
Like, she's very similar to Lala in Talking Heads. And I kind of mean that, like, if it's with a different group, that could be complimentary. But in this group, it seems like more independent film and kind of like different conversations. But Rebecca Minkoff doesn't need to be a flop. You got Scientology to talk about.
Yeah.
You got all of these things. You know, tell me this gets better with Rebecca.
I don't know. And even the new girl, Raquel.
Oh, yeah.
Not sure what she brings to the table either.
Well, I mean, she had some interesting stories about her wife and her family, but at the same time, it takes a while for any of these ladies to gel. And Jessel was such a hit last season, and I'm not, like even Jessel isn't doing the Jessel, if that makes sense.
Well, so in the most recent episode, Jessel has like a Cher themed party.
The Clueless?
Shares and Clueless. And again, it just doesn't work for me. Nothing about RHONY this season is working for me. And I actually was enjoying the first like 2 episodes of the reboot. And I actually enjoyed last season too. But yeah, not working for me. Brynn actually left that Clueless party early to get a spray tan at Sugar and Bronze, which a lot of people were like, why are you leaving your work event early to get a spray tan? Like, what is wrong with you? You guys,
we need people to take this shit seriously.
Yeah, like, if you're seriously, this is work. It's
the same thing with Summer House. You better clear your schedule for the entire summer and be there on the weekends. Yeah. Period.
Yeah,
take it seriously.
It's a job.
Yes.
I mean, I will say, and this might be controversial, I don't know, like, if anyone agrees with me, but I like Aaron. And I think that Aaron has potential to kind of be, if they reboot the reboot, I would say keep Aaron of all of them.
Well, I'll tell you, I love that Aaron Abe conversation about Bitcoin a couple episodes ago.
I feel like she's genuinely like, I think that is so hard to come by in Housewives, being like, yeah, my marriage is like kind of on the rocks right now. Like, I'm letting you into the problems in my marriage. Like, that's not.
But also, like, who has Bitcoin laying around and then she all of a sudden decides to check the Bitcoin and he sold it years ago to pay off some of their other debts. And then that's an issue. So I was like, I want to know, like, I would be just good with a whole hour of like finding out more about the Bitcoin and the finances and how, and by the way, Aaron's dad just passed away, like I think after they filmed. So that's really horrific. But I think Aaron does have a lot of play as a housewife. And it's just one of those weird things because right now, we were complaining about the lack of Bravo, and now there's an overwhelming, like amount of Bravo because we have Below Deck Sailing Yacht, Potomac, RHONY, Salt Lake, OC, Beverly Hills comes November 19th. Southern Charm comes before the end of the year. In the new year, we immediately have Southern Hospitality, and then we'll have Atlanta. Like, we have so much. And I got to tell you, like, it's kind of, I don't know, maybe it's just the world we live in right now, but it's exhausting to keep up with all of it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it is. You know what my new thing is, though? And this is like a tip. Pro tip, you guys. See, I don't have time lately to like sit down. Yes, that too. But like, I don't have time lately to just sit down and like catch up on shows. So I'll literally on my phone pull up the Peacock app while I'm showering, while I'm like doing my skincare, getting ready for the day. I'll like have it on while I'm doing other like folding laundry. You know what I mean? And that's
I'll go you one better. This is how sick my life is now. I am now watching some of these shows at 2 times the speed. Because on certain apps, or if like Bravo will give sometimes like early episodes and they'll have the time thing at the bottom. Netflix does this as well. And you can bump it up to like 1.25, 1.5. And sometimes if I'm taking notes or something, and I've already seen it, I'll bump it up to 2.0 and I can still pretty much keep up with it. But that's like how sad it's gotten.
A lot of people do that with podcasts and like my brain doesn't work.
Oh, I totally do that. Oh, Sophie,
you're just like so smart.
No, it's not that. On Snarkbait, you sound like Mickey Mouse at this point. Like I've got it up to 3.0 on Snarkbait. I can get through an episode of that in like 15
sorry
minutes.
That you have to get through it as quickly as possible.
Sophie, what if I'm one of the reviews of going, this girl's voice, what the fuck?
Yeah, yawn, boring. That was a review recently. That was you.
I'm glad we can laugh about it. Okay, so RHONY, I'm going to watch it every week. In fact, I do want to say something that's coming up as like, so Jeff Lewis, I do that show every week. And there's an episode coming up where Cy goes on Jeff Lewis's radio show. And then in between like the commercial breaks, they still record for the app. So whatever you say, people can still watch the video and like hear what we're talking about in between the commercials. And whoever the guest was with Cy that day says, oh, how's the new girl working out in regards to Rebecca? And Cy goes, she's super boring. She's really boring. And Cy didn't realize it was being recorded live. Yeah. And she freaked out when Jameson, the producer's like, just remind you, this is being recorded. And I think that's going to be an upcoming episode where Cy calls Rebecca boring.
I mean, she's
So that's
not
kind of
wrong.
exciting. Well, that's,
Wait,
I mean, yeah.
also, can we talk about, just as an aside really fast, because this just
Yeah.
reminded me, how you have never seen the movie Malibu's Most Wanted?
You know what? Oh, by the way, I will Sophie's aunt came up to me before the wedding. We talked about this and said, "Hey, I know you do Jeff Lewis, Jamie Kennedy. Our family's huge fans of Malibu's Most Wanted."
It's
And
like my family's favorite movie.
I texted Jamie about this and I brought it up on Jeff Lewis this week. I said, Jeff was like, "How was the wedding?" I said, "It was beautiful." And I said, Sophie's aunt loves Jamie Kennedy. Jamie Kennedy, big hit at the wedding. And he was, I think he got a kick out of that. And Jamie got a kick out of that as well. So
Bill
circle,
Gluckman down
dot,
with the bitches and hoes. If you know,
I've never seen that movie. And I feel like I might have passed the point where it would work for me.
It's never too late.
It's never too
It's never too late to start over.
Me and your aunt were pre-drinking before your wedding. We were like, she had like an espresso martini and I had a martini. And she was like, "I just have to tell you, Jamie Kennedy is amazing."
I know. And my cousin sent me a picture of it, actually. She was like, "This is Jules telling Ryan how much Malibu's Most Wanted means to her."
She teared up at one point. She was like, "It's a great movie."
So everyone, please convince Ryan to finally watch Malibu's Most Wanted.
No, I've got to, because Jamie, I get Jamie's hysterical. Anyways, so New York is happening. Potomac. What do you think about Potomac this season, Sophie?
I think it's pretty good. Don't miss Robin at all. Like, not even a little bit. And honestly, I don't miss Candace either. And I
gotta tell you, it is weird. I like Candace too. And I will say, like, Robin, I don't even know if she knows she's off the show yet. She's probably just napping somewhere and doesn't realize. But I just think it, like, with the new characters, it takes some time. Did you see this week that Gordon and Mia? Do you see Mia and her short king unfollowed each other on Instagram?
Yep.
What do you think happened?
They're over. They're over.
They've been in each other's lives since high school, though.
Her short king.
Her short king. Yeah, by the way, and guy like Gordon is just that's kind of dark. It's funny, but it's like dark stuff.
It is dark. I feel bad for Gordon. Also, like, if you want fair, go to a carnival. He ate with that one.
But I will say, though, also there's something so amusing yet scary, because I love Karen Huger so much.
Yeah.
But the fact that it's like the opposite of Shannon Beador on OC, where Shannon Beador is like, I realize everything I've done is wrong, and I'm trying. And Karen's like, "Girl, I can't talk about that. I cannot talk about that at all.
I can't talk about that. I don't want to implicate myself." And
what do you?
Yeah, I mean, like, the thing about Karen is that I feel like we're all Karen stans.
Yes,
I am. But, like, she literally is the most delusional, insane person, which makes her a great housewife.
A great housewife.
I feel like we're really seeing how delusional and kind of, like, out of touch with reality she is. And it's of course I'm still going to be a Karen stan, but, like, I'm definitely, this season is not a good look for her so far.
So I was going over the ratings, and it turns out, so, like, at the top is OC's, like, the top rated housewife show right now, right? Like, very, like, underneath that, just by a few.
Wait, what is?
OC is number one, Potomac is number two, and then there's a big dip, and then it goes to Salt Lake, and then 4 is Roni, and Roni's reaching levels of, like, Summer House Martha's Vineyard and Real Housewives of Dubai. So those are, like, kind of the ratings. But to your point earlier about saying, like, Karen's a great housewife, because I think what makes great housewives is that we really go around thinking, how does this person exist in the real world?
Yeah.
Like, how does, because somebody on the Patreon, I did a Q&A today, and somebody asked me, like, "Oh, when you interview Countess Luann," or I had Wes from The Challenge on this week, who's on House of Villains, and Wes was kind of doing a character, and I kind of caught on, like, he was being all cocky and stuff, and I really loved it. But somebody was like, "Oh, when Countess Luann's doing the Countess character," and I had to explain to the person, I was like, Wes was doing a character, but Countess Luann, that's actually Countess Luann. Like, it's closer than you would think. Like, she's truly into cabaret, and she's truly into talking about cabaret. So it's not like some of these ladies just genuinely are that way, but you would think there's no possible way, because how could that be real? But it's real, and that's what makes them legendary.
I believe that too with Karen. Like, that's just like
exactly
who she is.
Like, when I talked to her on that red carpet a couple of weeks ago at Us Weekly, it truly felt like I was interviewing a president. Like she was like, yes, I will make time for you. And I was like, thank you so much. I curtsied. I literally curtsied at her. I was like, thank you so much. And I truly felt like I was talking to royalty. And like almost at one point she was like, it's okay, darling. It's okay. Like, like being very gracious.
She's like, I know you're nervous to speak to me.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a Make-A-Wish Foundation moment. She was like, it's okay, son. It's okay.
She's literally the Princess Di of like our generation.
Well, this is off topic as well, but I got to talk to you about this because Kim Kardashian came last night she went to a Hollywood event, and this really upset Rebecca, but she wore this cross necklace. I don't know if you saw this.
Yeah, that belonged to Princess Diana, right?
And exactly. She bought Princess Diana's iconic cross pendant, and she wore it at the LACMA Art Plus Film Gala, and Rebecca was up in arms. She was like, she's got to fucking stop cosplaying with these historic, because she loves Princess Diana. And she's like, this lady, Kim's got so many talents, but stop fucking cosplaying with history. Stop with the Marilyn Monroe dresses. Be Kim Kardashian. Who is Kim Kardashian? Am I being too angry, Sophie?
No, I totally agree with you. Yeah, I feel like she's like the Marilyn Monroe, the Princess Diana. She tries to latch on to all these iconic women in history because that's who she wants to be. Because
she's a fan.
Remembered. But she's a fan, and that's who she wants to be remembered as. She wants to be remembered on the level of Marilyn Monroe or Princess Diana.
Well,
Speaking of delusional, Karen Huger.
I was talking about Kim Kardashian. I don't know where I was talking. I don't know if it was a podcast or in real life. Everything blurs now. But Kim Kardashian, just think about it. She once dated Her Majesty Jackson, who was in the Michael Jackson clan, right? Her Majesty. And dated when she was way younger. And then remember, because I was watching the Love is Blind reunion and I was recapping it for Maritza's podcast. And Nick Lachey, it reminded me, remember when she was Paris Hilton's closet organizer, Kim, and then Paris Hook set her up with Nick Lachey?
Yes,
and then
Nick Lachey went to the movies.
And Nick Lachey got pissed because he said that Kim called paparazzi on their date. Yeah. And it is kind of interesting to think about how smart Kim is that she really put herself in all of these kind of around these amazing people. So it could be completely accident or it could be completely calculated. And I think that's what makes Kim Kardashian kind of interesting still.
I mean, she is brilliant. I'll give her that. She's not bad for a girl with no talent, she knows what she's doing. She's calculated. But it is interesting how she keeps she really wants to latch onto these iconic women. And I think isn't Elizabeth Taylor, she's producing something about Elizabeth Taylor, Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe, Princess Diana. It's all of the most iconic women in history. It's she wants to be in that category. She's probably taking Elizabeth Taylor's DNA and is going to recreate Elizabeth Taylor. She's this girl saves everything. She's like that billionaire who keeps injecting his son's blood into his face. We've talked about this guy. What is this dude's name? Because he's I always forget his name. It's Aaron. He's I've got the body and blood of a 27-year-old, and this man looks sick. He looks he looks yellow. He looks jaundiced, and they do tests on this dude every day, and he thinks that he can live to 200 years old with the results he's getting because he's the first guy it's almost genetic engineering where every day they're getting results on all of his organs, and he has a very specific schedule. But if you look at this guy, it really creeps you out. What is the point to live all this if the whole time people are legitimately scared to be around you and look at you? I know, he's terrifying. Oh my God. We need him as a guest on I Am Jason, the Jax Taylor podcast. Oh my God, yes. I saw a tweet that was there's a new picture of him. It's we don't even know his name, but you guys know who we're talking about. There's a tweet that was he looks like someone in a movie that just got bit by a zombie, but he needs to keep it a secret from everyone at the party. Yeah, he's the guy that doesn't tell that he's been bit by the zombie. Oh wait, his name's Brian Johnson. He's a tech entrepreneur who is spending millions of dollars a year to reduce his biological age. Johnson follows a strict diet and exercise regimen, including taking 100 pills a day, finishing all of his meals by 11 a.m., avoiding alcohol and social life.
He also wears a light laser mask every morning. So this guy just doesn't even have a social life because he wants to live as long as possible.
All to like maybe even just like get hit by a car tomorrow. You know, it's like
no, you know what'll kill him? This dude goes on Reddit for the first time and like reads what people are saying, and it literally kills him like in a day.
Oh my god! But anyway,
so
that's him with Elizabeth Taylor's blood.
Okay, well, good on you, Brian Johnson. We salute you. We speak your name. I want to go back after Potomac to Salt Lake City this season. You're caught up on Salt Lake, right?
Yes, loving it.
It's my favorite. And by the way, I don't understand why it's not more popular because I think it is just like this is like high comedy.
It's so good this season.
Yeah. What do you think about Bronwyn?
Love Bronwyn.
Me too.
And I think that like it's interesting because in the most recent episode, Heather goes up against Bronwyn, who is far and away the fan favorite this season, in my opinion. But you would never expect the newbie to be the fan favorite. Like that's just not something they can predict while they're filming it. I think in Heather's mind, she probably thought that the fans would take some time to take to Bronwyn, especially with her like crazy outfits and her crazy old husband and her crazy house. Like, I think that like she just miscalculated. I think that she thought that like the viewers would be like, yeah, Heather, take down the newbie. Whereas we're like, stay away from our queen, Heather.
Yeah,
stay away from her.
Heather vacillates wildly from full of herself to like completely innocent. Like,
yeah.
And what Angie K said this week really rings true of like, I've known Heather since high school and she always wanted to sit at the popular girls table. So like Heather at this moment, you know, like she is the favorite of Bravo because she did the receipts proof timeline, but it's one of those really awkward, like kind of adjusting to this much power and she's not good at it. So Heather kind of like tries to play this middleman, but at the same time shit talks in a way and then never wants to be called out on her actual shit talking. So it's like she never counted on somebody like Bronwyn and somebody like Mary fucking Cosby, who also nailed Heather Gay.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I think her siding with Lisa Barlow, who I love Lisa Barlow, but it's not like she's having like the best season ever. But again, I think that goes back to her trying to sit with the popular girls.
Yeah, it's like, well, the first season we saw Heather and Lisa. Remember how Lisa called her a good time girl?
Yeah.
And Heather was because Heather really wanted to be friends with Lisa. And so it's just funny how that shit never goes away. And I hope Heather can course correct at some point. And I will tell you, it takes like there was literal dog shit in Bronwyn's place, and she still is my favorite. I'm like, that's fine. It looked like fancy dog shit.
Crusty dog shit. It was like old.
How dare no, there was gold flecks in there. It was beautiful.
It was several days old. It was several days old. I'm like, don't you have like you
Sophie, you don't tell me you let Baxter shit in your house and just leave it there? Like, come on.
No, we don't leave it.
I'm joking.
I guess if you live in like a mansion, then like
by the way, we finally we had no chocolate in the house the other night and we finally ate Baxter. The chocolate.
Oh my god. So wait, if you guys missed this, we had little chocolate Baxters as wedding favors. And I was unpacking my suitcase the other day and I was like, I'm going to put these in the fridge or the freezer. Completely forgot. It's been 80 degrees in New York City. It finally cooled down, but it's been 80 degrees. They melted. They melted. They were on the windowsill and they melted.
Did Baxter see a version of his chocolate self melted? And it
yes, I screamed. I like almost cried. I actually was like traumatized. I felt like I like did something to Baxter. Like it was like really traumatizing.
Your dog Baxter saw himself as a melted chocolate. He's probably had the most weirded out, messed up week.
I know, it's really fucked up.
It was a good chocolate though.
Wait, also back to Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
So where has Meredith been? Are they phasing Meredith out?
Well, okay, this is what I was going to ask you. As a Jewish lady, I know she is studying for her bat mitzvah. Is there a part of the bat mitzvah process where you have to like head to a cave for like a month or something?
Like disappear?
Where the fuck? Like she was at the 25th anniversary Mobwise party. Like, it's very crazy here. And then you just don't see her at all. And then Meredith was on Watch What Happens Live on Wednesday night after the episode. Yeah. And I'm like, why? She wasn't even in this episode.
She wasn't in the episode once. Yeah. Actually, during your bat mitzvah studies, there's a part where you have to do ayahuasca in the wilderness.
Could you imagine Seth? We're on ayahuasca. I just want to take off our clothes and have skin together.
Yeah,
with
and
you,
you're
Meredith.
like 12. Yeah, it seems like they're maybe testing. They're doing the thing where they test how the audience reacts to No Meredith or how the episode
Wait, are you
pans out
kidding
with.
or are you being for real?
That's just like, I don't know.
You
know
think
how
they're doing
sometimes-
audience testing and they're just holding Meredith back to see if they can deal without Meredith?
I mean, I don't know why else they like wouldn't have Meredith. And I think that Meredith is a great housewife. So like, I don't know why they would be doing that, but like, why else would she not be in the past 2 episodes, basically?
I thought she's maybe like diving for like caviar eggs in like some kind of foreign land and they couldn't afford to film it.
2 episodes in a row.
Well, she was at the Mob Wives thing. She was just in the deep background, but she was there.
In the background and she was like practicing for her bat mitzvah in one scene 2 episodes ago. And that's all.
Meredith, we're going to need more. Like, we're going to need more. And if they're phasing you out, I feel really, really horrible. But Mary Cosby coming in very strong, even though she wasn't in that much of this week's episode. Angie Katsunavis doing really good. Maylee, the other friend of, not really neither here nor there. What do you think about Brittany Bateman?
I love Brittany.
Me too. And we didn't get a Jared Osmond appearance, even though he was talked about this week's episode. And I talked about this last week when I got back from Charleston. But did you know that Jared Osmond has a 2008 album out?
I know what I'm listening to in the shower tonight.
Yeah. By the way, I don't want to be foul, but if you and Henry are going to make love anytime in the next week, I would appreciate it if you would listen to Jared Osmond's 2008 banger called Innocent Ones. And these are the song titles: My Little Boy, Just Stay, I Might Find Some Comfort Here, This Is Heaven, Angels Behind You, Look to Him, Here I Am, If I Could Be There, Innocent Ones, and then the last one is called Unlisted. And it's only 37 minutes. So don't tell me you don't have time for it.
If I could be there. Oh.
But this guy, Jared, this guy now is like being like, he's trying to get in with the but he's like responding to like Bravo bloggers and stuff. And I'm like, dude, don't do this. Is like a loss. Don't do this. It never works out well.
He's so annoying. I will say that like Brittany, the whole like not having a relationship with her kids potentially.
Wait,
like
what is that? What is that about? Like, did the kids get taken away by the ex, or what did she mean by that?
I don't know. I need answers to that.
But do you know she's like a full-fledged actress? She's done like tons of Lifetime movies, and like her resume is huge.
She does have a Lifetime movie face.
She was in one with Tori Spelling, even.
Oh my God, she so has a Lifetime movie face. That so tracks for her.
Yeah.
That makes
but
so
I
much
love
sense.
her. I mean, I already like signed her up for a second season.
IMDb and like watch. I love Lifetime movies. One thing about me, I'm gonna watch the Lifetime movie called Bad Stepmom or whatever.
And she does like Hallmark movies too. I don't know when the last one, but it's like a big IMDb resume. You're not going to recognize a lot of the titles, but they're all out there. So I think Salt Lake City this week's going to be interesting because they all go on a group vacation, and it looks like Bronwyn gets into it with Lisa, and then it also looks like Bronwyn asks Lisa Barlow and John Barlow to leave premises. And what did you think of Justin and Justin and John getting into that fight, then having smashed potatoes and an awkward man conversation?
Yeah, what was with the smashed potatoes?
He was like, because all they wanted to do was tell each other how much they really love each other and how they're both sorry, and they couldn't find the words because they're men. So they're like, we're hearing good things about these smashed taters. We definitely want the smashed taters. And you could tell there was like such longing of friendship in both of their eyes, but they just couldn't make that move.
It's so funny. John
had at all?
John had such like an overreaction. I thought it was so funny.
You go, hey bud, hey, he puts his arm like Justin. He
was like trying to impress Lisa, I think, and it worked.
Oh, dude, Lisa seemed hot and bothered. And even John called her, he called her a mouthy wife the next day in front. Did you catch that? He's like, oh, just having to stick up for my mouthy wife again. And she's like, now I'm mouthy? Oh my God. And she was like smiling when she said it.
Oh my God. John Barlow. He's so hot. He's so hot.
Hot. John Barlow. I'll tell you, John Barlow reminds me a little bit about your husband, Henry. It's like a strong, silent type. Strong
Oh my
silent
God,
type.
that's
Like,
such a compliment to Henry. I'll let him know. He'll be
yeah.
like, "Who is that?"
Okay, so Salt Lake City, it's going great. Everything's good there. What else do we have here? Oh, in the podcasting world, somebody that's competing with us that I thought you'd be interested. You probably already know about this. Did you know who else has a new podcast coming out? Or it might be out
Um,
already, actually.
no. Who?
Army Hammer.
What?
Army Hammer has a new podcast, and he's also been cast in his first movie. I think the first movie in 3 years. But the New York Times says he has his podcast called, let's see here. What is it
The
called?
Army Hammer Time podcast?
Yeah, Army Hammer Time. That's it. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so scared.
Army Hammer Time, which
With
is
Tom
billed as a
Arnold.
career comeback. Yeah, Tom Arnold's a guest. And there's like a weird kind of clip for it. And there's like even like pull quotes where he said, "Oh, I kind of think the cannibal thing is funny." So it seems like he's trying to reclaim his narrative. And the brief description of Hammer's podcast on the website makes a joke ostensibly about the allegations multiple women made that Hammer had sexually cannibalistic fantasies about them, saying, "Don't worry, we feed him before every episode," the description reads. So like he won't eat you because we fed him before
I
we
hate that.
recorded the podcast.
I hate that like the cannibalism part, it has overshadowed the sexual abuse part of it.
Yeah, and then we've turned that into the joke part. So that is
Right.
the thing that gets the most light, when the actual other part was the sadistic part that
Yeah.
people should pay attention to.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe snark bait. Maybe snark bait.
Competition.
Yeah, competition. What did you guys do for Halloween this week?
We did nothing. I'm like still the most tired I've ever been, honestly.
Yeah.
Like literally the most tired I've ever been in my life for the past week. Like I thought that like I actually like said yes to going to a Halloween party this weekend. It was on Friday, and then when Friday came along, I was like, no. Like I literally
You're
physically
married.
can't.
What do you need to go out at all anymore for? It's
No,
done.
but like I am so tired, but I loved a lot of costumes that I saw online.
Well, I wanted to talk to you about this because I did like a lot of costumes online, but also I feel like we might have, it probably is just my age, but also we've taken it too far. And I hate to keep bringing up Kim Kardashian, but did you see what she dressed as? Like that lizard creature?
Alligator.
Like, just do a movie then. Like, what is the fun in like having a whole visual effects team going to like dress you up? Like, she's not going door to door. She's doing it for a fucking Instagram photo. Like, what is the fun in that?
I hate that. That's like one of my biggest pet peeves.
Me
is
too.
When celebrities just do like photo shoots. It's not even for like a Halloween party. They just do photo shoots. Like Kylie
Jenner.
She did striptease, and it was a cover of her just naked. And she was like, Kylie dresses as, but she's just naked and she's just does a photo shoot. Like, that's not a costume.
Listen, I saw Demi Moore's striptease when it first came out in the theaters, and it was okay. And like, I love Demi Moore, but it was okay. I love when like these like billionaires take really kind of specific movies, like, and then it's just like, it almost is like for people to be like, "Oh my God, girl, iconic." When it's like, is it really iconic? You're like, your beaver's hanging out and you're covering yourself up. Like you're like, it just frustrates me because like, there's a part of me that thinks, does Kylie Jenner, has she even watched striptease?
No chance. No chance. Except now that she's with Timothy, you know that she like is a cinephile.
Well, she's listens to Bob Dylan now, which you live in New York City, which had the marathon this week. And then last weekend had the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest.
I'm so sad I missed the Timothy Chalamet lookalike contest. The marathon, yeah, today we actually could see from our balcony some of the runners. And I went out, and it was by the time that I like went out with Baxter this evening, it was kind of like the stragglers. And I was like, yeah, go. It was so sweet. It was so sweet. The people that just like I just love Marathon Day in New York City. It's like really sweet. Like just
I've loved looking at all the photos.
Yeah.
In fact, this is from Wu-Tang is for the children Twitter account. They had a sign up from New York, the Marathon Day, and it's a sign of DiCaprio, and it says, Leo would stop at 25 because marathons are 26.2, and Leo would stop at 25, which is a funny joke about how he loves young ladies.
I saw one that was like Lisa Barlow would want you to go the distance.
Oh no. Did you see the one of like But what about Scheana?
Yeah. Has anyone checked on Scheana?
Has anyone checked on Scheana? Imagine you're on mile 23 and you see that sign. That would like let me go 10 more miles.
I know that would really like keep me going. Wait,
Yeah.
what did you do anything for Halloween? Did you dress up?
We went to an LCD sound system concert.
Oh my God, you're so wild.
Trendy. It was awesome. One of my favorite bands. So that was great. But I dressed up like Freddy Krueger, but they wouldn't let you let wear masks in there. So it was just the sweater.
Oh.
Yeah. Menendez brothers. So the Menendez brothers, it looks like we potentially either could have them released before Thanksgiving or before Christmas or not at all, because DA George Gascon has recommended resentencing. Now, this could either be resentenced or it could be Gavin Newsom could pardon them for time served. Now, the thing that might screw this all up is that we are in an election and George Gascon is up for re-election and is currently trailing. So he might not win re-election, which could actually throw this into a little bit of chaos. But the fact that Newsom has it and Newsom has actually commented on their case, so it still looks good even if Gascon doesn't get reelected. But could you imagine having all of this hope for your case? You've been in prison 35 years, and then all of a sudden the DA that recommends this doesn't get reelected, and then just your hopes are gone?
That'd be really sad. I would love for the Menendez brothers, because Cooper Cook, who played Eric in the Ryan Murphy show, is getting a lot of like Emmy buzz because he was really, really, really great, especially in that one episode where he does that whole like 30-minute monologue.
Yeah.
I would love for the Menendez brothers to like be at the Emmys. Can you imagine?
I'll go one more. I want them to host the Emmys. How about that?
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? They have to catch up on like 35 years of TV. They don't even know what Max is.
Wait,
they're like, it used to be HBO.
I want them to present Best Picture at the Oscars.
Could you? No, I mean, I know that sounds crazy, you guys, and we're kind of joking, but at the same time, think about it. We had Anna Delvey on Dancing with the Stars. There was this rumor already that Dancing with the Stars producers were testing the waters with Anna Delvey for people like the Menendez brothers. And I know you're like, oh, that's insane, but it's not insane if you think about television, right? Like,
I want them on
crazy.
I want them on the next season of House of Villains.
Could you? Could you imagine? See, and that's the thing, is that they're also set to make millions of dollars after they get out of prison just due to their story. So I'm really curious how all of this shakes out. But at the same time, I watch this show Love After Lockup every Friday on WeTV, and these prisoners, they really go through something when they get out of prison. Like, life is so scary to them. And, the Menendez brothers are so used to the life that they have behind bars that sometimes when you get out, there really is this readjustment period that can completely fuck with you,
Yeah, I hope they have a good support system for when that happens.
Kim Kardashian, Ryan Murphy, those are two.
Who else do you need to live a well-adjusted life? I think it also sounds like a lot of their extended family has always supported them because they knew that Jose, their dad, was abusive to them. So I think it sounds like they have some extended family on the outside. So, rooting for them for sure.
Back to Halloween really quickly. I wanted to get your take on the Heidi Klum has deemed herself like the queen of Halloween, just like Michael Jackson deemed himself the king of pop back in the day.
Wait, did that costume happen?
So yeah, you didn't see this? She dressed, her and her boyfriend dressed up as E.T. And the funny thing was with it, Janelle Monáe dressed up like E.T. 2 days before. So like Heidi Klum must have been freaking out because we were already freaking out about Janelle Monáe dressed up as E.T. And then all of a sudden Heidi Klum, are you looking up the picture? It's insane.
Yeah, I totally missed this. It clearly didn't go as viral as The Worm. Oh yeah, that was okay. That's boring. I'm bored.
Yeah. But also, that's so random. And then also Janelle Monáe scooped him. And then Lizzo this year, Lizzo had like 3 or 4 different costumes this year. She had Edward Scissorhands. She went as like Ozempic, but she called it Lizzo because of that South Park episode. And she's trying to get in on the Halloween thing as well. It's big business this Halloween.
Oh God. Next year I'll get myself to care again. I was a little occupied this year.
Hey, wait. Be honest. Have you cried at all this week?
You know what? I started tearing up seeing the stragglers at the NYC Marathon today. I
I
really
love that.
did.
Yeah. Okay, this is a sports story as we start winding down. I do want to point out Sophie's team, the Bengals, won today. So hats off to
Woo!
Joe Burrow and the gang. Season is not over yet, but I wanted to talk about Gisele Bündchen really quick because it was announced that she is pregnant last week. And she is pregnant with her, I think, her Aikido instructor. And
Yeah.
Tom Brady supposedly was livid. And it also came out that Gisele, of course, told Tom Brady before it went public. But what did you think about this? I think Gisele is, what is she, 41 years old? And
I
she's
think she's older than
Oh, no, she's
41.
44 years old.
44.
She already has 2 kids with Tom.
Yeah.
And this will be her third child,
Third.
plus bonus mom to Tom Brady's son, Jack. And it's with her boyfriend, Joaquim Valente. As a football fan, what do you think Tom Brady thinks about all this stuff?
I mean, good for Gisele. Good for Gisele. Like, good for her. Like, I don't think Tom Brady was an easy person to be married to. Like, good for her that she like got out of that and is having a happily ever after with her whatever instructor, jujitsu or whatever it is. Happy for her. Also, getting pregnant at 44. Love that for her. Very excited for her.
But what a sliding doors moment. Like, if Tom Brady had just retired, like he said he was going to retire, they could possibly still be married, but he retired and then he unretired.
Yeah.
And Gisele was like, screw this. And now Gisele is out there living her best life.
What, you think that was like the straw that broke the camel's back?
I do. But Sophie, I say that as a non-sports fan. I do. Hopefully Jax Taylor will have Tom Brady on his new podcast before the end of the year to get some kind of information about that for closure for all of us.
Inside the mind of a man.
Inside the How many times do you think, how many different people do you think Jax has had sexual relations with since he's separated from Brittany?
Honestly, not as many as in his heyday. Like, I don't know that many girls that are like lining up to like hook up with Jax Taylor now in 2024, you know? But probably
I think you'd be surprised. I think you'd be surprised.
No, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
probably a lot.
I'm watching the second season of Vanderpump now for Patreon. And like, it is funny. Like, he has this scene with Schwartz where he was like, in the old days, I would just like hit anything. And if I felt bad, I would just go out there and fuck. I would just go out there. And Schwartz would be like, I know you did, dude. I've seen your growth. Like, he was like, if I got into a fight with Stassi, I'd go out there and just hook up with somebody. They don't even have to be good looking. And so I just thought, man, this guy, what do you think his body count is? You know?
What a self-own. She doesn't even have to be good looking. I'll just hump anything. And Schwartz was like, yeah, I know. Like, we shared an
but Schwartz was like, I'm proud of you. I mean, imagine, like, dude, those guys have probably smelled each other's like sweat so much. You know what I'm saying? Like, they've seen every part of, like, accidentally seen every part of their bodies.
And they've just gone full circle. Now they're just like single guys in Hollywood again.
I know it all. Well, no, Schwartz and Sandoval both have girlfriends.
I know they have their girlfriends, but not their wives.
exactly. And Tom Sandoval announced that he's moving in with his girlfriend.
Oh God.
Okay. Young Thug, the rapper Young Thug, has been released after changing his plea to guilty in Georgia's longest running criminal trial. So the Atlanta rap star is going to be a free man once again. So shout out to Young Thug. Congratulations.
Wow.
It's big. No, I mean, that's Young Thug and the Menendez brothers potentially in the same year.
Thanksgiving at my place.
Young Thug. YT. Come on.
YT.
YT. And listen, we got the announcement that Traitors season 3 will be on the second week of January. Are you liked the Traitors, right?
Oh my God, obsessed with the Traitors. I'm so excited.
Yeah, so we have that on Peacock. I think they're going to release the first 3 episodes at once. And it's January 9th for the season 3 premiere. Tom Sandoval is going to be on it. Dorinda's going to be on it. We've got a huge cast. So
I'm ready for it. Also in early 2025, Yellow Jacket season 3, and then also Severance season 2. Finally.
I know. And that's, I was talking about this on the show last week. Everybody, the Severance preview looks great, but everybody needs to go catch up on Severance because it was out 3 years ago and people might not even know what it's about, but I'm so excited for the new season of
I
Severance.
like barely remember. I think I need to rewatch it.
Yeah, go rewatch it. We also have Southern Charm coming out. Southern Hospitality will be early on in the year as well. And I saw Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I saw the premiere episode this week for the new season of Beverly Hills.
Oh my God, you have a screener. Wow, Ryan, thanks for reminding us.
No.
Once again, you get screeners. We had no idea.
I just want to remind people that it's out on November 19th. And it's really, Doute potentially is going to have a really bad season, I think. Well, her and PK separate, and we see it in the first. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be.
I'm ready.
Yeah. So that's and then anything else that you're watching, or anything else that you're like, oh, I gotta watch that. That you're like, oh, I need to check that out.
No, I feel like I talked about how, during October I only watch spooky stuff. So I watched all of the new American Horror Stories, which are really, really good. Actually, they're very Black Mirror-y.
Did you watch Grotesquerie?
No, because I heard it has the Ryan Murphy classic crash landing where he just doesn't land the plane, and I don't want to waste my time. So I watched the first episode, and then I read reviews, and I was like, you know what? This isn't worth my time. But also, I've been going back and rewatching, or not rewatching, watching for the first time Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone.
Oh, I've never seen that. Is that Paramount Plus?
Got really bad reviews. Like, you think like Jordan Peele, Twilight Zone, what could go wrong? Sounds perfect. There's like 1 or 2 good episodes. The rest are like not great. But it's on Prime. But I've been watching because I like just been watching spooky stuff all month. And then there's a new movie on Netflix called Time Cut. And I discovered it because it was going viral on Twitter, a clip of
it's young girls in like early 2000s.
Yeah, it's a teenager from 2020. And it's actually the actress who plays Kiara in Outer Banks. I forget her name, but she's great. She's a teenager in 2024, time travels to 2003. And it's like showing like the juicy tracksuits and like the Walkmans and just like all of those like 2003 things. And people on Twitter are like, this isn't accurate because XYZ.
Yeah, I saw that.
It's actually a really good movie. So that, and also speaking of Outer Banks, Rafe Cameron, the actor who plays Rafe Cameron, Drew Starkey, who I told you out of all of the Outer Banks people, like he is going to be a star. He's in a new movie called Queer with Daniel Craig, directed by Luca
Guadagnino. Yes. Oh,
which also
wow.
looks really good.
Oh, yeah. No, I know that. I love him as a director and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I wanted to recommend to you, Sophie, there's a new, I know you love this, man. There's a new Liam Neeson movie out called Absolution. It's hit digital. It's not on Netflix yet, but the New York Times says Liam Neeson is Liam Neeson in yet another Liam Neeson movie. So good reviews all around for this. And I also want to recommend This is the Zodiac Speaking, which is a 3-part Netflix series about the Zodiac Killer. If you still want spooky stuff, this is a docuseries about the Zodiac Killer that's super eerie and creepy. Anatomy of Lies on Peacock, which is a 3 or 4-part series about the Grey's Anatomy writer that lied about having cancer, which is great.
Oh, really I need to watch that.
And you're going to love that. And then Breath of Fire, which is on its 2nd episode on HBO Max right now, about Guru Jagat and the Kundalini empire that was kind of a whole scam. It's a really creepy look into kind of cult-like behavior in Kundalini yoga. The directors of that will be on the show this week, but I think people will really dig that. There's 2 episodes and 2 more to go. They air every Wednesday.
Also, a documentary on Netflix called Sweet Bobby.
I watched that about the scam.
So I actually listened to that podcast like a year or 2 ago of the same name, Sweet Bobby, about a catfishing scheme that went on for almost a decade. And watching the documentary, I feel less bad for the victim because it's kind of like how, but it was a good documentary.
Well, it was, and you probably know more information because you listened to the podcast, but I was like, wait, how is this even like he would always say he got injured or he was in the hospital.
He was in the witness protection program. He died and came back to life. It's like, come on, honey.
And then she's like really pissed, and I understand that, but at the same time, this went on for years.
Yeah.
And then it like ends with him like going to like the guy's house with the kid, and he doesn't know who the fuck she is, and it's like really, really crazy.
Yeah, definitely check it out. It's crazy.
Okay, and then I think that is God, there was something else I was going to tell you. Oh, that's what I wanted to say. We're not going to go political here, but I do want to encourage people to vote. Sophie, have you voted yet?
No, I'm actually voting on election day because I
What?
want a sticker.
I would have just given you a sticker, Sophie. I could have just mailed you my sticker.
Part. Everyone's like, you can vote early. I'm like, well, I want a sticker. And there's like nothing like being at the polls on election day, you know?
Yeah. And you're a big RFK Jill Stein girl, so good luck with all of
obviously.
that. But I know everybody, seriously, go out and vote this Tuesday. That's what America's all about. And, no matter what happens, we will get through it. We're still going to be the same smart ass people. And I'm excited to see what happens. What else is coming up? So we got Snark Bait, which airs every Wednesday, new episodes drop, or is it every Monday?
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night, guys, new episodes. You can make sure they show up in your feed by subscribing. And for a new podcast like this, you guys are already doing great rating and reviewing, but just make sure if you haven't, hit that 5-star button, hit subscribe, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, spread the word. This is like a really kind of great hour where it's snarky, but you're going to learn something. You're going to get into people that you might not have heard of or might have heard of and kind of hear a really funny, delightful conversation. So I highly recommend that. And also Sophie's married. So, how long before the kid?
I got mouths to feed. So
yeah. Well, by the way, wait. If you ever are, and when you start a family, whatever, will you make the announcement on this podcast rather than Snarkbait? That's all I'm asking.
For a price.
Oh, geez.
It's gonna cost ya.
Kim Kardashian.
People exclusive.
Holy shit. Yeah. By the way, Lindsay Hubbard, Lindsay Hubbard should be giving birth like any day.
I was just thinking that. She's like very pregnant.
God. Well, anyways, I could keep this going on forever, but I know we're both exhausted. So you guys have a great week. Go vote. I think we got some great guests. I'm talking to JC Chazé this week, which is insane to think about.
Oh my God. That's amazing.
So many great guests. So just check it out. There's tons of crap out there to listen to with this show. So thank you guys. And we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
That was great. That was awesome.
Thank you.